Yes, welcome everyone to another week here at Cannabis News and the Marijuana Times. I am your host, Joe Klare. It's January 21st, 2019. Today, we're talking about marijuana legalization, recreational marijuana legalization in New York. Also, man caught on camera putting marijuana somewhere it shouldn't have been. I'll let the conjecture flow as far as what that is until we get to the story. And what those Trump's new Attorney General nominee, now that, of course, Jeff Sessions is gone, what does the new nominee have to say about cannabis? We'll find out. Talk about all that coming up. But first, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Natureside, nature-side.com, and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Grow safe and poison-free. Of course, don't use banned pesticides in the state that you are growing in. You can accomplish all of these goals with Natureside. Nature-side.com, proud sponsor of Cannabis News. Thank you to them. This first story by Andrew Ward over at marijuanatimes.org. Cuomo unveils cannabis legalization plan for New York State. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's long pivot towards cannabis legalization came to a head at the close of 2018. In mid-December, the governor, who once considered cannabis a gateway drug, announced his emphasis on legalizing adult use cannabis in the state. He went so far as to call on lawmakers to legalize marijuana within a busy first 100 days of the governor's term in office. As Andrew points out, over 60% of New Yorkers support legalization. On a Tuesday, January 15th, the governor released additional information about his administration's plans during his State of the State address as far as marijuana legalization goes. Basically, a lot of it focuses on social justice, economic opportunity for communities that have been ravaged by the war on drugs. He said, stop the disproportionate impact on communities of color. He said, let's create an industry that empowers the poor communities that pay the price and not the rich corporations who come in to make a profit. So we'll see as the details shake out in New York what exactly, with legalization limits and such. There's various tax proposals, if it were. $1 per dry weight gram of flower cultivated and 25 cents per dry weight gram of trim. A 20% tax will be imposed on wholesalers, and wholesalers will also face a 2% tax on the same sale, but that would be collected in trusts for and on account of the county in which the retail dispensary is located. Basically, there's going to be a ton of rules, restrictions, regulations, taxes, the whole nine yards. Basically, a lot of what California is dealing with now. Is that helpful to getting a viable industry together and off the ground and undercutting the black market? Probably not, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know. You put a bunch of regulations on, you have a lot of taxes, you restrict supply, and the price is very high compared to the black market, which is being seen everywhere, and then you say, well, the black market's still functioning. Well, yeah, because they're selling a lot cheaper. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you explain supply and demand to grown adults who should know these things. Supply and demand is very simple. It's so simple, and it's the backbone of the economic system, roughly. I mean, obviously there's a lot of government intervention, but roughly it's the basis of the economic system we operate in. And to not know what effects supply and demand are going to have, to not know what effects on price that a lot of taxes are going to have, it's pretty basic stuff. Again, as I often say, I'm just a lowly video operator guy who can't get this laptop to work. So I'm two things today. This next story from Fox News.com. A man caught on camera putting a bundle of marijuana in the wrong mailbox. This, according to police. A Massachusetts woman was shocked to discover someone had mistakenly put a small bag of marijuana in her mailbox. Laurel Brown Collins told Boston 25 she doesn't know the first thing about pot. She doesn't smoke it and doesn't have any in her house. So she was shocked when she found 18 grams of the drug in between her bills on Wednesday. I don't even know how much you're allowed to have, she said. Obvious reference to Massachusetts recent legalizing of adult use marijuana. Surveillance camera caught the delivery man dropping the stash in the mailbox, which investigators believe was destined for another house in the Woburn neighborhood. They're going to be burning in Woburn. Am I right? Come on. The man wearing a black jacket and a black hat is seen putting the small bag in the mailbox before walking away. There you go. The ravages. The ravages of legalization. People putting pot willy-nilly all over the place in people's mailboxes. But obviously, I mean, on a serious note, if you're going to put marijuana in someone's mailbox, you probably should make sure that that is the person who's looking to receive the marijuana. Again, it seems simple. I know, in hindsight, some little Monday morning quarterbacking here, but it seems a basic tenet of delivery, that you deliver it to the person who's supposed to get it. I don't know. It is what it is. Last story. For MarijuanaAmendment.net, Trump Attorney General nominee won't go after legal marijuana businesses and urges Congress to act. At his confirmation hearing, Attorney General nominee William Barr, who will be replacing, of course, Jeff Sessions, said he would not go after marijuana companies that have operated in compliance with earlier Justice Department guidance that was rescinded last year by his predecessor, Jeff Sessions, a.k.a. the infamous Cole memo, which Sessions repealed in January of last year. Barr said, my approach to this would be not to upset settled expectations and the reliant interests that have arisen as a result of the Cole memorandum. However, I think the current situation is untenable and really has to be addressed. It's almost like a backdoor nullification of federal law. Cory Booker asked Barr if it was appropriate to use federal resources to target marijuana businesses that are in compliance with state law. Barr said, quote, I'm not going to go after companies that have relied on the Cole memorandum. However, we either should have a federal law that prohibits marijuana everywhere, which I would support myself because I think it's a mistake to back off marijuana, so he supports full marijuana prohibition. But he says if we want a federal approach, if we want states to have their own laws, then let's get there and get there in the right way. In other words, enough of this, middle ground. Either say that all the states are wrong and nullify their law and say marijuana is prohibited everywhere, which of course is not going to happen, or, get off the pot, as they say. I think it counts as a pun. I think so. Get off the pot and get legalization, and if you're going to let states do it, let states do it. Make that federal law that states can do what they want and make their own decisions when it comes to cannabis. And he's basically saying he's going to follow the Cole memorandum. He's not going to go after state legal businesses and businesses that are in compliance with state law, which, as I've said many times before, that's great. That's what we want from the Attorney General. We're not going to get an Attorney General wearing a Rasta shirt at the podium talking about how much he loves the ganja. We want an Attorney General who says, I'm just going to leave it alone. Let states decide. It's not my problem. I'm Attorney General. I'm going to go focus on other stuff. It has nothing to do with marijuana. The Attorney General of the United States shouldn't be thinking about marijuana. It's not his problem. It's not his business. It's not the business of the federal government, to be frank. Although I am Joe. That's right. One more old-timey joke before we get out of here. Thanks, everybody, for checking out Cannabis News and spreading the truth about cannabis with this show. Search the Marijuana Times on Apple Podcasts to find the audio-only version of the show. Of course, you can find us as well at marijuanatimes.org. Click that video tab. Subscribe on YouTube. Click the little notification bell on YouTube so you know when a new episode of Cannabis News has dropped. Thanks, everybody, for watching and listening today. We'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.